Wherever you may be, thanks so much for making this part of your day. We'll get to Joy with the news upcoming. You know, I watched Kyrie Irving last night, and field goal percentage-wise, he didn't play great, but in the fourth quarter, he was spectacular. Some of the scoring, some of the assists. I thought it was just a high level, felt like a playoff atmosphere. It's at a new arena in Milwaukee. The whole Milwaukee thing is outstanding. You know, just from the move to get Eric Bledsoe last year to signing Brook Lopez, who, I mean, you want to talk about the Lakers, what they did in the offseason. They had Brook Lopez, and they let him walk for small money. He went to Milwaukee. He's a perfect fit as a stretch five who can defend the rim. He's been great for Milwaukee. He should have been good for the Lakers. And then they have this new arena, which is outstanding. And then, of course, they have Giannis, who I would guess likely wins the NBA's MVP. That game was a high-level game. Kyrie had a couple of great finishes, a couple big pull-up three. He had Al Horford for a couple made jump shots on a pick and pop, one pick and roll. He did miss a shot at the end of the game. They called timeout. Weird situation where it was a jump ball, and because of the time on the shot clock, the Celtics got the basketball, advanced it 3.5 seconds, and Kyrie wasn't able to get a good shot. Actually took a left-hand runner. But I was thinking back to the sound, well, first the video, which went viral, which is there was a couple videos of Kyrie and KD talking at the All-Star game. There's one in particular where Kyrie and KD were in a hallway, and, you know, they're both dressed for the game. They're both wearing their signature shoes. They're both wearing kind of their signature shoes that are fluorescent shoes. KD's wearing the anti-pearl, the pink ones, the pink KDs, which are cool, and Kyrie's wearing like a fluorescent yellow version of his own shoe. And they're talking with their hands, and they're going back and forth, and they're smiling. And so it became this like, well, maybe they're talking about where they're going to go in free agency and how people are reacting to them. It allows people to kind of speculate. So you go back to 2 days ago, and Kyrie was asked about this after a workout. He's sitting down, he's got a hat on, and he really took offense to the idea that he had to put out a kind of viral video firestorm, if you will. Take a listen to his response.
So it's a video of me and one of my best friends talking, and then it turns out to be a dissection of a free agency meeting. You get that? Like, do you get that? And then I'm asked questions about it. Like that's what disconnects me from all that. Like, it's my life, right? It's two people talking, having a conversation. But it's a video of somebody assuming what we're talking about, right? I hear you. Making an opinion about it. So why would I care about it? Why does that have an impact on my life? Why are you asking me those type of questions?
Now, look, his defensiveness is what really kind of perks up your attention, right? If he just said, like, well, we were just having a private conversation, we could have been talking about movies or books or shoes or anything. You know, it's not really any of your business. You don't have to be defensive. But I think he's growing tired of the media speculation over what he's going to do, where he's going to do it, and how he's going to do it. It kind of mirrors that of Kevin Durant going back to last week. Remember when KD said this?
Y'all come here every day, ask me about free agency, ask my teammates, my coaches, you rile up the fans about it. And now when I don't want to talk to y'all, it's a problem with me. Come on, man. Grow up.
How are you playing? How's the team playing in the last couple weeks?
I'm done. You know you don't care about that.
I just asked you.
Both of them are getting kind of terse with the media. And I get it. We've gotten to this age where somehow the guys at TMZ that aren't really reporters get their cell phone. You get off a cross-country flight like I did. Like if somebody would have asked me questions at, 1 in the morning when I landed about anything, about filling in for Colin and, Colin's off skiing and you enjoy or left and you just flew cross-country. I got off a flight. I got bad breath. I got BO. I had a couple glasses of wine to help me sleep. I watched a movie. I might have a headache. I need some coffee. I want to get my car. I want to drive home. I want to sleep in my bed. I want to take a shower. I want to pet my dog and see my wife and kid. Like, I understand that sometimes you want to be left alone. And we have become intrusive and in many ways unfair with how we treat people. Like there should be a barrier between your personal life and your professional life. On the other hand, there is some of this that you have welcomed in. You've allowed us to speculate on it. Like Kyrie was the guy who grabbed the microphone without telling anybody else and was like, hey, if you guys will have me, I want to stay in Boston. I'm like, okay, cool, awesome. And then you were the same guy that said, talk to me June 1st. Like, that was you. So, and I fully understand that you want to be empowered and choose your own. Who doesn't want to pick their own destination, right? There used to be these books. I don't know if you had these, to Choose Your Own Adventure. You ever read one of these books when you were a kid? Choose Your Own Adventures were just a lot, I think more for boys than girls, whatever. And you'd read like a chapter. At the end of the chapter, do you slay the dragon? Do you run away? Like, you make a choice. It's like A, B, or C, and you turn to each a different page, and that the story changes.
Right.
It's a great idea, and it becomes kind of the butterfly effect, right? If this happens. So I know that you want to choose your own adventure, and you may choose poorly. Like, you may make a mistake, and you may not like it. Hey, look, I've been a free agent in this business, and it stinks because you might actually get what you want from the place where you are, and then have already come to the conclusion that you want to try something different, and then maybe kick yourself for having tried something different. Like, that's real. That happens. And the last thing you want is every conversation you have with a friend to become for us to guess what they're saying and to read your lips across the room the way they did in that Seinfeld, right? Well, what he said, like, you might misread your lips. But, like, you're going to go play in New York? Really? If you think they're intrusive now, have fun in New York. Everything is made bigger. Every deal is made more important. And if you're the two guys that are going to come save the Knicks, they're going to parse every one of your words, every post-game press conference. I don't love the direction of the media, and I do think that we kind of, we got to, hey, let's give these guys some space. They are friends. They can be talking about a million things. But he's not helping it, Joy. He's not helping it by, one, being so defensive, and then, two, this is kind of part and parcel what comes with being a guy who's leaving it ambiguous as to what he's going to do this offseason.
I mean, none of them have any option but to leave it ambiguous, because I don't think any of them have made a decision about what they're doing this offseason yet. Like, I think everything could change depending on where or when they lose, what player that they're talking to decides to stay or go. Like, there's a lot of things that can still happen. So I don't think that any of them know. So it's a little unfair for us to ask of them, to tell us.
Agreed. And even if they did know, you're allowed to change your mind.
Right. So they can't win. If they say they lose, if they don't say they lose, if they say they're focusing on basketball, they lose. So I do sympathize with them as far as getting mad at the media. Right. Because who are we? I mean, come on. I think we in the media sometimes get a little entitled, and that's about you have to answer our questions. It's not about us. But what I do feel like is if your name is in the free agency pool and you are a superstar, you have to be aware that fans are dying to know or be part of the figuring it out process, and they care. It's really about the fans. We are fans of the sport, so we're interested in it as well. Obviously, it's content for our business. But at the end of the day, it's really about everyone else. And these decisions affect whole cities, the worth of franchises. They affect other people's careers and jobs. So it's not a small thing, someone like Kevin Durant leaving Golden State to stay for the Knicks. It changes the NBA history forever.
But if he just said, listen, let me just tell you how it works, okay? Me and Kevin, we're friends. We're going to be friends if we play together. We're going to be friends if we don't play together. That doesn't change. I'm not going to tell you what we're talking about, but I can tell you what we're not talking about. We're not talking about what we're playing next year.
All I would say is me and KD were having a conversation, and that's another question. Just say the same thing. Just shorten it and just dead the story. That's the best that you can do, because you're going to get asked about it. And I sympathize with the frustration of constantly being asked the same thing over and over, and you can't give a different answer anyway. That I understand, but this is going to happen. This is the era that we're in.
You put it well, actually perfectly, when you said it's a no-win situation.
Right.
You're right, but it is a potential lose situation. And I feel like when you come across defensive, now you're losing. And you don't need to lose. You don't need to lose. You don't need to go off on Ethan Strauss. You don't need, privately pull a guy aside.
Yeah, I also feel like we tend to remove the human element of these situations.
Agreed.
And I mean, I'm actually more impressed with people like LeBron or big superstars who never snap. That's more impressive to me and more just unrelatable to me than guys who do actually show some emotion and annoyance, because it's fascinating to me that you can sit there and take all those questions and deal with all the scrutiny and deal with all the social media backlash over and over and over and over and over again almost every single year and not snap. I would snap.
You actually just snapped during a break
exactly.
to me, and I apologize to you. Let's get Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
It's a big one for the Lakers last night. They're now 2.5 games out in the West after coming back to beat the Rockets. And LeBron finished the game with a team-high 29 points to go along with 11 rebounds and 6 assists. And after the game, he addressed his comments from earlier in the week about taking his game to another level.
I'm just an all-around basketball player. I'm not. You can't get me in position. I'm just a ball player. Put me on the floor, I'm gonna make plays offensively and defensively. I sacrifice. Sacrifice my body. Sacrifice for my team. It's just all about whatever it takes to help us win.
And this is why they're not going to miss the playoffs. I just refuse to believe it. There's too much riding on LeBron's legacy of the situation with the Lakers. I know we came into this season with low expectations, and I think very quickly everyone realized that's not a thing with the Lakers in Los Angeles. With LeBron James, it's not a pass-away season. And with everything that's happened already, and with his injury, now it's become very urgent that they, at the very least, make the playoffs. Because what's going to happen if they don't make the playoffs, and LeBron is, I'm sure, very aware of this, immediately it's going to kick in that all these back-to-back return habitual appearances in the finals really don't mean anything because he was playing in the East. As soon as he comes to the West,
correct,
first team he gets with, he doesn't make the playoffs. So it's not an option.
I actually think they're going to get more out of this season having not made the big move than had they made the big move. Because in addition to using this season to figure out who he likes, who he doesn't like, now you're going to see who can come back from being mentioned in, like, if you're going to ride with LeBron James for the next 3 years, there's not going to be less. There's going to be more drop, right? Like, we know this. We have 15 years of data, and at the end of his career,
and he's admitted it. He just said the other day he likes to be uncomfortable. He likes to play with pressure.
Right, and so now we're going to really find out, like, all right, listen, there's two different types of NBA regular season games. There's everybody else's and ours in terms of every game being important.
Right.
How do you react to playing that kind of pressure? And we'll find out. So far, Kuzma, Ingram especially was pretty good last night, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
And we'll see how some of the other Lakers respond. Josh Hart didn't hardly play early in the game. I don't think he played till like the third quarter, and then he couldn't get him off the floor. And Josh Hart's been like a season-long slump. So I think this pressure, he will find out more about these teammates, and it could be the best thing that ever happened to young Lakers.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that,